So we started climbing, and it was the most intense thing I've ever done. In the beginning, you have, you walk in the jungle, no big deal. It's 24 degrees. You see some monkeys in the trees, and you enjoy and talk a little bit. But the higher we came, and we were walking the first day, I think 6-7 hours. It started to rain a little bit. Annoying, because wet is not nice, and wind came in and sun went a little bit down. So then I already had my first challenge, like, oh man, you really have to focus and stop talking. And then we saw 2 rainbows, which was beautiful. So there was hope again, the symbol of hope, and there were 2 of them. So we're like, hey, we're gonna do this. At 3,700 meters, we entered there, and it was already less. How do you say that? Less trees, and the plant structure changed. So in the beginning, you have high trees, and it becomes more grassy things. And I already felt the altitude, and there were also some other people who really had a bad time already at 3,700 meters. Some small headaches. But what we did is the breathing exercise, of course. So during the walking, we did the breathing exercises. So breathe more than you think you need.
And someone was coordinating that, like to remind the group, okay, just do a more session?
A little bit. So in the first time, not really, the first part. But when we entered 3,700 meters, Wim said, okay, guys, let's do breathing exercise together before we go to bed. So we started doing the breathing exercises. I actually banged my head on the table because the retention time was a little bit too intense at that height. And we went to sleep. But sleeping at altitude is not fun. It's like you constantly have the feeling that you have a hangover. And you breathe different. Not the way we were doing the breathing during the walk. So we need to stay alkaline and keep this chemistry going. And so we woke up at 2 a.m. in the night to do another session. So for an hour. And then I think that was the biggest thing we could do. Because then we woke up, felt good, did the breathing exercise again, did some breakfast, and we went off again. And then the day we entered, it was still a little bit sunshine, but now there were some ice on the ground. Not so nice. So you stand there in your shorts, like, oh shit, we have to go for another 5 hours to go. And then we entered a snowstorm. I think 3 or 4 hours walking, we entered in a snowstorm. So the snow was hitting your chest and stayed a little bit in your chest hair, and the wind's coming in, and it's more desert now. Okay, so no trees anymore, so it's open, out in the open. You see the peak of the Kilimanjaro in the distance, and you think, oh my god, that's far. And there was a snowstorm coming, and I felt, oh man, and cold, and also a little bit exhausted because you didn't sleep well. And then we entered 4,800 meters, and there you have a kind of a checkpoint. So finally we came there, so I was pretty tired, but there was a line waiting for the checkpoint. And I told this story before, but it's I was standing there with Wim, so half naked in shorts, with the ice in your chest hair and a little bit red and freezing, and standing there and waiting. We want to go inside, inside. And there was one guy, a French guy, completely dressed up, hat on, big coat, gloves, etc. And he went first. No, he came from there. He came here. Bam, boom. Went, and I said to him, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he said, "Oh," I turned around and said, "Oh, I am so cold. I am so cold." He said, "No problem. We just wait here. No problem." Just looking at each other like, "Okay, just go." No, funny thing. And then the sleeping was even harder. So sometimes you wake up like to get some oxygen.
Yeah.
You have to go to the bathroom all the time because your body wants to get rid of the pee. And then at 4 a.m. we were planning to go up the last part. 6 hours to the peak of the Kilimanjaro. And it was pitch dark, 4 a.m. And I was standing there in my shorts with my 2 sticks. Freezing. Even I was wearing some gloves, but it was the cold was straight going through it. And it was pitch dark. You couldn't see the peak at all, or where are we going. And then someone forgot the key of the house. Not so nice.
Which house?
The house where we had our stuff.
Okay.
So that was our base camp now, and the stuff was in there, and we have to lock it. And but at the end we said, fuck it, not lock it, fuck it, because hey, let's go.
Yeah, takes away the focus.
Yeah, and 5 minutes waiting in -10 in your shorts is not fun. So that's also when I teach at the Academy of the Wim Hof Method, I always say, be on time. Important, Not only because it's good to be on time, but it's also, especially when you do outdoor activities, it's not nice to wait in the cold.
Yeah.
So pitch dark, and then I was thinking, oh my God, now we're going. And the pace was so slow. Because the porters were also a little bit tired, and they didn't do the Wim Hof Method, and normally they have just a 5 to 7 days trip. So, and they also wanted to protect us not to climb too fast.
Yeah.
So they set the pace, and we just walked behind it. Yeah. So we were wearing some small headlamps just to have some light in the dark. And again, the pace was so slow, and I wanted to go faster because to warm up also.
Yeah.
Now, there were 3 moments that I really thought, okay, it's over. The first moment was that that someone said, okay, it's enough. I take off. I want to take off. I want to put on all my clothes. So he put off his backpack, started putting his trousers on, and everything. And then every cell in my body said, I want that too. But someone pushed me and said, Bart, come on, we are on a mission. Let him go. It's okay. You have your own focus. I said, okay, that's a good thing. So we continued, and and the breathing was getting so hard because normally you have 20% of oxygen in the air, and now only 11. And it was quite steep, the last part. It's the peak. Like the Snezhka, the last part, it's quite steep. And the second moment was that, also because of the breathing, your lips are dry and a little bit torn, and not nice. You have a very dry mouth of constantly doing.
Okay, so after the last sleeping, like the last base camp, you were like, okay, from now on, all the time,
all in
the breathing.
Yeah, before already, but this was now getting serious. So I wanted to take a zip of my camel bag. That is a bag with water on your back, and then you already guess it.
It was frozen.
It was frozen. Yeah. So then you panic a little bit. Then you think, oh, I'm out of my resources, and what's next? It's not something you cannot on a mountain without water. But the group that's why it's so important to have a group and to stay together as well, because then someone gave me some tea, some ginger tea. And that, wow, man, it tasted the best ever, and it was also so nice just to feel the support, even though you're in a complete own focus in an own bubble, because you're getting in kind of a survival mode, which is logical, I think.
So that's the question what I raise, but I'm also not. I don't have a definite answer about that, but I also experience similar processes on Snezhka, that when you are on the edge of your performance, or almost like you know that this is like, okay, if I go more, then it's gonna be like very risky. And you are with the whole group. According to your experience, my kind of conclusion was that, okay, it's better just to focus on myself, because if I get fucked up, then at least 2 people needs to get focused on me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can prioritize who to focus on yourself within, and try to help what is needed, or try to constantly see the group as a whole and try to feel it.
Yeah, that's the difficult. You train for it.
Yeah.
And you have a kind of a buddy system. But still, when people really get in survival mode, there is no other persons anymore. You know, you're just alone. Still, you're trying to do, but your first thing you want to do is save your own life.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And that's why I learned so much about group dynamics, also by climbing Snishka 20 times with a group of people. And you learn so many things there.
Yeah.
Just how people work.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you can make a lot of appointments, like okay, we stay together, or yes or no. But when people really got into that fight flight, they're gone.
Yeah.
It also happened on that mountain, and at a certain point the group split it up a little bit. That was good. I think we had a little bit faster group and a little bit slower group, so we could set our own pace. Wim was already gone. He was already going up. Yeah, that's also what happens. Afterwards, we were a little bit like, hey, Wim, what was that? But yeah, he said, yeah, I also have my own pace. And I don't know. There were some things going on there. And then the third moment that I really thought, okay, I had it. I die here, or I go back, or I cannot go back and I cannot go up anymore. I think I die here. Such a feeling. It was still dark. You couldn't see anything. But then someone tapped me on the shoulders and he said, Bart, look around you. Look at the other side. And I turned around and I saw a small stroke of light coming up. And that was the sun.
Wow.
And you had the feeling that you could look over the whole world and like, wow. And I still feel it when I tell it the story many times, but every time I tell it, I still feel it. You know, it's incredible that something so small can be so big. You know, so you're so much gratitude for such a small thing, and there was hope again. Just with the rainbows now, it was the sun is like wow, and it almost felt like your skin heated up. Yeah. It was not the case because it was still very cold, but every time when I walked 5 minutes or so, I walked behind and I saw this light coming up, and that gave me so much hope, like, we're gonna do it. So I had a complete shift that moment, like, bam, go. And I came in a kind of a zone I've never been before. We just walk. It was normally you do it in 6 hours, I think, the last part, 6-7 hours. And eventually we walking on the ridge of the volcano. You look inside the volcano, you think, holy mama, this is so big. It's incredible, you know. And cartoons, you'd always think the volcano is very small inside. You see some smoke out of it, but it's just, wow. Mother Nature, incredible. And there was snow. Now there was snow, and every turn I thought, oh, we're almost there. It was not the case. It was, even when we are on the ridge, it was still 1.5 hour walking. So at the last 300 meters, I really had it. So let's be honest, I just put on a small sweater because the wind was blowing. I was thinking, I'm not crazy, you know, I'm stupid but not crazy. It's a phrase of Wim, but I said the same. I not want to die, just for a record. And then I saw the snow glaciers, and in the distance there was a small man with a beard sitting underneath the sign of Uhuru Peak, the end point of Kilimanjaro, the highest point. It was like if my dad was waiting for me or something. I don't know what happened, but I completely burst out of tears and almost ran to Wim And that was we made it, you know. And then we
Awesome.
made a quick picture, of course, for the Facebook, for the Facebook likes.
Yeah, that's the most important.
You have to say, no picture, you did not do it, huh?
That's our word today.
Yeah, and I put on my clothes, and my body said goodbye, because I made it. And my body said, you made it, goodbye. So I forgot really to focus on going down instead of only getting up.
Yeah.
So my body said goodbye. I tried to eat some chocolate, but I puked it directly out. My body said, okay, now, no, not external energy. You need to do it alone. And I don't know how I did it, but after a few hours, I was back at base camp.
Yeah. Just put it in perspective, that last 300 meters, and especially after 2-3 days of walking up, then every minute or every second and those situations is like years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's not just the 300 meters.
No.
But it's like a totally different situation.
Yeah. And once you are reaching the top and you look over the whole world, you think, wow, you know. But you don't really, doesn't come in. You know what I mean? You are there, but it's like a dream. Also because of the altitude.
Yeah.
It's weird sensation. So we went back to 4,800 meters, and then the next day, I think, we went all the way back down to the hotel, and we had a big pool party, and everyone was happy, and everyone made it. So I think 24 made it to Uhuru Peak, and 2 made it to 5,700 something.
It's also not bad.
Gilman's Point is fantastic, you know, it's fantastic. So even the guy of 65 made it to the second final stop. And but then we realized also that we didn't make it in 3 days, but in 48 hours. So that was also a big thing.